Omega armor set and its set bonus, Omega Resonance, is very powerful and flexible, as long as you can meet the requirements of having friends or people to play with, or don't mind support hunters. That works too. Then again, if you're playing solo, Omega Resonance will still activate, but you can only use a portion of it, more on this later. But is that power and flexibility enough to significantly boost the performance of dual blades? If you'd like to see more content like this, give this video a like and subscribe for more Monster Hunter Wilds content. And if YouTube gave you access to the hype feature, hype up this video, it really helps out this channel a lot. Thanks. Quick disclaimer, I'm waiting until we get the tempered new Udra armor pieces to build craft the best dual blade set that we can for Title Update 3. If you are interested in that, stay tuned. Even with that said, the build that will be showcased in this video could very well be the best that Title Update 3 has to offer for dual blades, provided that you can beat Savage Omega Planetus at least once and that you prefer playing with other people and or support hunters. With just 2 of the Omega armor pieces, you get a 50-50 split between 20% affinity or 10 raw attack for 90 seconds at a time, thanks to the Omega Resonance set bonus. To quickly recap, the set bonus is separated into 2 different types of resonance, local and remote. The 2-piece variant of the local resonance provides 20% affinity to the user whenever another hunter is actively standing within your blue circle. As soon as they leave, on the next pulse of that blue circle, you'll lose the affinity bonus. Remote resonance, on the other hand, gives you 10 raw attack when no one is inside your red circle whenever the circle itself pulses. Unlike local resonance though, this 10 extra attack persists even if someone were to enter your space and then you pulse that red circle again, making it very consistent to trigger, because once you do, you'll have it until it switches to local resonance or you leave combat. For whatever reason, Omega Resonance activates even in solo play, but the only buff that you actually get is remote resonance. So you get a 10 raw attack buff when playing solo every minute and 30 seconds. The set bonus is just really good. No matter which way it pulses, you're gonna benefit as long as you pay attention to your circles and the positioning of your allies. Outside of that, some of the Omega pieces are just downright awesome, offering a valuable tier 3 offensive armor skill like Burst and Weakness Exploit, skills that dual blades love, alongside a point of Divine Blessing and an open 3-slot and 2-slot decoration. From testing, no matter if it's the remote or local version of the resonance, dual blades can juggle them quite efficiently, as the weapon type requires you to get very close to your target to land meaningful hits. This translates well with local resonance, as you'll more than likely be close to other melee hunters aiming for a weak point. On the other hand, with how mobile dual blades are, when Omega Resonance flips to remote resonance, we'll be able to easily corkscrew out of range of other hunters to meet the conditions of remote resonance and then demon dodge our way back into the fray. To compare Omega Resonance with something like 2-piece Gormagalas' Black Eclipse 1 or 2-piece Lagiacrus' Azure Bolt 1, the trade-off seems clear. With 2-piece Gore and Black Eclipse 1, you get consistently higher affinity for a longer period of time, but at a cost of less offensive armor skills being available to you, as the Gormagalas' armor pieces tend to have more utility skills that are more for evasion or stamina management. As for Azure Bolt 1, you get the least amount of consistency in terms of affinity, but it requires the least amount of maintenance to activate. Additionally, the Lagiacrus armor pieces themselves offer a nice blend of great offensive armor skills, plus a pretty decent spread of open decoration slots. And then you add in the occasional proc of thunder damage that can really add up over a long fight. Comparing with both these options, the Omega Resonance 2-piece bonus offers an awkward spike in damage due to the forced resonance change and some degree of inconsistency due to the need to interact with another hunter, but it makes up for that by having great innate armor skills, great open slot decorations, and more importantly, consistent uptime if you can control it. No matter if you use the 20% affinity or the 10 raw attack, there is no real downtime in Omega Resonance's amp, assuming you meet its condition. Losing out on a consistent source of 20% affinity may seem devastating, but it is no different than having Azure Bolt be on cooldown or building up to Frenzy with Gore. Except this time, you can control its activation to a degree. If it flips to remote resonance, the trade-off is still pretty good, as you get 10 raw attack to make up for your lowered affinity, something that the other 2 armor pieces cannot provide. In all cases for dual blades, the affinity bonus from any of these armor set bonuses should not be your main source of affinity. Even with all that said, there are still places and situations where 2-piece Gore or 2-piece Lagiacrus can outperform the Omega 2-piece set bonus in multiplayer environments. For example, if you're looking to take down Savage Omega Planetus, you'd be getting a bigger damage amp with my Title Update 2.5 Best Dual Blade build. link on the top right of the screen and in the description below. Thanks to the sets' high thunder resistance pairing especially well with the Lagiacrus weapons. Additionally, if you were to fight any particularly large monster such as the upcoming Gogmazio, there may be periods of time where you and your team will have to split up to tackle side objectives. In those types of scenarios, having a reliable way to self-start can be especially important. Assuming a 220 raw attack base weapon, at our maximum potential this build gives us 87 raw attack. Just as a minor flex, even without the remote resonance, I was able to hit 180 on a training dummy. For some other weapons this might be kinda mid, but for dual blades, that's exceedingly high. Alongside the raw attack increase, we'll also get 40 elemental attack and 70% effective affinity without local resonance. The armor pieces are as follows: the Radal Helmet Gamma, Radal Chest Gamma, Radal Gloves Gamma, Omega Waist Alpha, and Omega Pants Alpha. With 2 pieces of the Radal armor set, we get access to Radal's Voltage, which extends the duration of latent power by 30 seconds whenever it is active. And then with a 3rd Arch-Tempered armor piece, we get access to Lord Soul, increasing our base raw attack by 5% while reducing our defense by 5% until we activate its secondary skill. Lord Soul also comes with Tenacity, allowing us to survive 1 lethal hit provided we were above a certain threshold before that hit. After Tenacity is triggered, your defense is actually buffed. On a final note, if you really want to build this set, you're only gonna need to beat Savage Omega Planetus once. By slotting in the decorations that you see on screen and equipping the charm that you see on screen, we'll get the following armor skills. First up is level 5 Latent Power, granting us 50% affinity and 50% reduction in stamina consumption whenever we use a stamina draining skill, something like Demon Mode. Latent Power can activate in 2 ways, taking 130 damage or being in a fight for 2 minutes. With Radal's Voltage, Latent Power will last for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Because dual blades cannot make great use of skills like Maximum Might to get affinity, Latent Power and the next skill that we're going to be talking about become especially important as our main ways to get affinity outside of Omega Resonance. Next up, we get 4 levels of Weakness Exploit, giving us 20% increased affinity when hitting weak points, and that can increase to 35% affinity when hitting wounds. Depending on the fight, it might be better to swap Latent Power and Weakness Exploit. If you can easily reach weak points, putting Weakness Exploit to level 5 while bringing Latent Power down to 4 yields more consistent uptime on higher affinity. Next up, we'll get 1 level of Burst. After hitting 5 consecutive times, we'll get 8 raw attack and 40 element attack. Next up, we'll be slotting in 2 levels of Counter Strike, granting us 15 raw attack whenever we get knocked down. As for our last offensive skill, we'll get 3 levels of Adrenaline Rush for a boost of 20 raw attack whenever we successfully dodge an attack, something we want to do anyways to trigger Demon Dodge Boost, granting us an additional 15% to our base raw attack. The Adrenaline Rush boost will last for 30 seconds. We also technically have 1 level of Maximum Might, but as we talked about earlier, this skill is not very useful for dual blades, but the 10% extra affinity is there if you ever somehow proc it. As for this armor set's utility skill, we're gonna get 2 levels of Evade Window, making it much easier for us to dodge through attacks, which translates to a comfier playstyle and a more consistent Demon Dodge Boost bonus and Adrenaline Rush bonus. Then we'll get 2 levels of Evade Extender, increasing the distance of not only our normal rolls, but also the demon dodges. Then we'll get 1 level of Stamina Surge, 1 level of Divine Blessing, and then we'll have 1 open slot left over that, at least for this build, I'm using Constitution, but feel free to use whatever you'd like in that open slot. As for God Charm considerations, if you have something like an offensive weapon skill, and then 1 level of Adrenaline Rush or Weakness Exploit for example, that may be more valuable than level 3 Adrenaline Rush, especially if it's a Rarity 8 Charm that has an open 1 slot weapon decoration for you to use. For the example of this video, I only have a Rarity 7, which grants me level 3 Critical Eye, which is really good for dual blades, and level 1 Adrenaline Rush, plus 2 open 1 slot decoration armor skills. In this specific example, losing out on 10 raw attack for 12% affinity may not seem like a great trade-off unless you consider the 2 armor slots that are open. With that, plus the 1 open slot decorations that we have for our flex choice in the armor set, we can comfortably slot in 3 levels of Thunder Resistance to amp the damage of our Lagiacrus weapon. For other God Charm weapon skills, consider Razor Sharp 3, Attack Boost 3, or even Elements Damage 3 of whatever elements you want to use. But be on the lookout for our secondary skill in Adrenaline Rush level 1 or Weakness Exploit level 1. Usually I would recommend a burst level 1 for a god charm, but in this armor set, the Omega waist already gives us 1 level of burst. As for which dual blades you should use, this build is open for anything. If you'd like to rock an Artian weapon, go for it. If you'd like to rock a crafted weapon, go for it. If you're using a crafted weapon though, I would recommend using your 3-slot decoration for a sharpness maintenance skill. Your burst damage may not be as high, but your consistency in dealing damage will overtake that burst of damage in longer fights. As for the 2-slot and 1-slot decoration, you cannot go wrong with using those 2 decoration slots to get level 3 critical boost. As for Artian weapon decoration slots, I'd recommend a similar deal. Get a sharpness enhancing decoration like Razor Sharp 3 plus Handicraft 1, get critical boost 3, and then for the last slot, elements level 3 of whatever elements you want to use plus critical element. For the Artian rolls themselves, go with all attack infusions. As for the reinforcement bonus, try to get at least 1 sharpness boost and everything else should be attack or element. Try to avoid affinity if you can help it, but it's not a big deal if you get 1 roll in affinity. And there you have it, possibly the best Title Update 3 generalist dual blade build. Though I find that a hard statement to make without the tempered New Udra armor set. Once we can get our hands on those armor pieces, that's when we'll start truly crafting the best generalist dual blade build for Title Update 3. So stay tuned for that by subscribing and enabling the notification bell so you don't miss it. The more I get to test out Omega Resonance, the more I really like it. It's a lot better in solo play than I thought it was gonna be, and then also it is very consistent if you're playing in multiplayer. If you're not a dual blade homie but you stuck this far, I have a generalist Omega build video that you should check out, link on the top right of the screen and in the description below. With that said, give it a try and let me know what you think. If you're interested in a more spicy and dank dual blade setup, check out my Blackest Night dual blade build video, link on screen right now. My name is Varsona and I'll see you in the next video.